This is Nick Bellafato with Chicago Boxing News and Diamond Boxing out of New York, and I'm here at the Robert Guerrero press conference announcing his fight with Selcuk Aydin. Correct me, Robert, if I'm wrong, but your wife Casey is still cancer-free, is that right?
Yes, she is. She got the bone marrow transplant, and the bone marrow transplant is like the icing on the cake. You know, she's cancer-free already on 2 years, and that's probably one of the best news we've heard in years.
How much inspiration do you draw from Casey in fighting your own battles?
When it comes to boxing, it looks like, makes it like it's Disneyland. Like it's a walk in the park. You know, seeing what she had to go through, being by her side throughout the whole process, it's tough. It's tough to see them. Like I always tell everybody, you know, I fight for fun. I fight for you know, the joy of it. I've been doing it since I was 9 years old, and you know, she's fighting for her life with no choice. I have a choice to either fight or not. So, you know, I take advantage of all my opportunities, you know, because it truly is a blessing to be doing what I love to do and make a living out of it. So, you know, I look at everything she's gone through, and you know, it really inspires me. So every time I get in that gym, it's an honor and a privilege to be in there.
In combining your wife's good fortune with the fact that a win against Selcuk Aydin will make you the mandatory challenger to Floyd's WBC welterweight crown, it would appear things are coming together for you. Do you feel that this is the beginning of something special aside what you've already accomplished in the sport of boxing?
Oh yeah. This is you know, this is going to be a big breakthrough. You know, God willing, everything goes great. You know, it puts me at the mandatory to fight Floyd Mayweather, and you know, like I said, you know, God willing, and you know, that's the main thing is putting God first and preparing for everything and put everything after. You're
coming off your left shoulder surgery, rehabilitation, etc. Are you back full force now? And how confident are you in letting that left hand go?
Oh, I'm very confident. You know, I had an arthroscopic corrective surgery with Dr. Dillingham out in Redwood City out here in California. And, you know, he did a tremendous job. He's one of the best, and you know, I had great physical training for you know, to strengthen it back, and you know, I'm ready to go 100% all out with it, and I just can't wait. I can't wait, and you know, I have the utmost confidence in my shoulder being you know, ready for the long haul.
Okay. It's well known by now that this particular shoulder was giving you problems for quite some time due to suffering a tear years ago that worsened. Do you feel that you're better than ever after your surgery?
Oh yeah. You know, I've been suffering this since I was a kid. Old football injury. I you know, never got it taken care of. And you know, now I was able to get it fixed and get it worked on. You know, I feel great. I haven't felt like this in, I can't tell you how long. So, you know, like I said, it's feeling great. I just can't wait to get out there and start using it.
You're up against a less than dimensional fighter in Aydin, who's not much of a mover, while he comes straight ahead and sometimes takes 2 or 3 punches to land his own. He also relies on his power and a solid chin to get him through his bouts. Do you feel this guy's kind of tailor-made for you in a way?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he has the style that you know, matches up with mine to put on an excellent performance. But that being said, you know, he has that style that a lot of people underestimate, and they take him light, and that's when he creeps up on him with the punching power and the non-stop pressure. You know, every fighter that is undefeated with the majority of his fights knockouts and has been the #1 contender for 2 years. You know, he has something up his sleeve, and you got to be prepared for all the time. So, you know, you just got to be ready, and you got to be 100% focused to take on a guy like Aydin.
Aydin may, of course, try to negate some of your movement by perhaps attempting to cut off the ring or box you in, which is not much of his forte. Do you prefer his brawling style to that of a boxer puncher, even though Aydin could be considered somewhat of a risky opponent?
You know, I'm going out there to do my thing, fight my fight. You know, whatever he changes up, if he tries to cut the ring, even if he tries to box, who knows? You can't really judge a fighter by his last fight. You got to prepare for him, you know, the way you're going to prepare. And whatever he does, I'm going to be prepared for. So, I prefer any way he comes.
Aydin, although less polished, is somewhat similar to your last scheduled opponent, Marcos Maidana, and he likes to loop that right hand, while he also doesn't appear really big on stamina. Is that something you took note of, and do you plan to make him use his legs before you do anything else?
You know what? We have the game plan down. Right now it's still up in the air of which way we're gonna go. If we're gonna get him moving, we're gonna trade with him. So we have a lot of ideas right now, and pretty much what we're gonna do is start putting everything together as we go.
Okay. And I asked you this before. Aydin said he was coming to break your jaw, and holding and hitting as well as straying low is not beyond him. Are you prepared for the rough stuff on his part, whether legal or not? And how would you respond to that?
A lot of people say, they like that intimidation. I know he's broke the last opponent's jaw, so it's all psychological warfare and trying to get into my head, gonna break my jaw, and all the dirty tactics. But I don't let none of that get to me. I just prepare the way I prepare for fights, and get ready to stay focused throughout 12 rounds if it goes 12 rounds. So you just got to be focused and stay on your game all the way throughout the whole fight.
The concern on the part of many is that you're moving up from lightweight to fight at welterweight without the benefit of really fighting at junior welterweight. Is this a major concern for you? Why or why not?
Nah, it's not a concern for me. If it was a concern, I wouldn't be doing it. I would be at 40. I'm excited. I'm a physically big guy. A lot of people are underestimating me, and this is the time to go and show everybody up. Make a huge statement. Moving up 2 weight classes, fighting for the WBC World Champ, and also getting into that mandatory spot with Floyd Mayweather.
In speaking with you before, I believe you mentioned you spar with welterweights and above regularly. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, I always spar with bigger guys. That's one of the things I have to do is I can't spar with lighter guys because they can't handle it. So come in with the bigger guys, and but you know what, sparring doesn't mean anything, and it's just how you prepare and how you approach things with your mentality and what you could do, and just work on your craft and your skills to be sharp.
You were training in Big Bear for the Maidana fight. Any consideration of training up there again?
Yeah, the high elevation is always a plus. That's what we're looking to do is a high elevation spot because it does benefit you. Training that high elevation, you're always 100% prepared, and you can go for days when you come down.
Any ideas on who you might bring in to training camp for sparring purposes?
No, not yet. Who we're going to bring in? So, we'll bring guys, that can simulate Aydin, and also different stuff. Guys that can box, guys that are fast, guys that are pressure fighters. We're bringing a variety of guys to mix it up because, like I said, you can't judge a fighter by his last fight. You got to be prepared for everything.
I don't know if it was speculation, rumors, or what, but there was talk that the reason you were calling out the big fighters was that your recent injury was more serious than what many were led to believe, to the point that you might not have much left to give in boxing. Yeah. You care to comment on that?
Yeah, if that was the case, I wouldn't be fighting Aydin, an unknown, dangerous fighter. I got that a lot, that I was just trying to cash in and that my shoulder wasn't no good. People are going to be in for a rude awakening and be very surprised. And, if anybody got to say anything after this fight, then they're just hating.
With a victory in July, do you have any reason to believe Floyd Mayweather Jr. would try to avoid you as a mandatory challenger, as had Juan Manuel Marquez for so long? Not really too focused on that right now. Just my main focus is getting ready for Aydin, and then after that start putting it together. Who knows? He might see something in my fight that he might, that might give him trouble, and might not want to take it. So see what happens. Mayweather Cotto just took place. Did you catch that fight, and what are some of your impressions regarding either fighter?
Yeah, I watched the fight. It was a great fight. Great for boxing. Miguel Cotto came in great shape. He came in, he did some good things in the ring. But Floyd did a masterful job, picking him apart, picking, poking, rolling with the punches. He did a tremendous job, and seeing how much of a pressure fighter he was that night. It really opens up a different outlook on Floyd. So especially being at 154 pounds, his punch output was higher than normal, and his power output. So it really makes you look at start assessing him in a different way.
Pacquiao Bretley's right around the corner. Any thoughts on that fight?
I'm excited to see that fight. Can't wait. I want to see how Bradley handles the speed, of a lefty that can punch. I was there at his last fight with Joel Casamayor, who is a lefty and who's pretty much ready to hang him up. So this is his opportunity to make a huge impact and take over the game. So I'm interested to see. I just want to see a great fight between the two.
Okay, almost ready to wrap up. Salido tested positive for steroids, which resulted in your loss to him being overturned. Mosley admitted to taking a form of steroids. Rumors have circulated that Pacquiao, in traversing several weight divisions successfully, is not all the result of hard work. Some claim Andre Berto's recent bicep tear is consistent with steroid use. And now Con Peterson is off due to a positive steroid test. In your opinion, is boxing headed the way of Major League Baseball, wrestling, and other sports where steroids seem prevalent? Or are we already there yet? Or are we already there?
I mean, we're already there.
Okay.
We're already there. Enhancement's been around for years. It's just, now people are raising the, raising the bar with bringing, steroid testing, random drug testing. So, the random drug testing is starting to bust a lot of people, and I think it's great. I think it's great to clean up our sport. Keep it fair, especially. Being in one of the most dangerous sports in the world, where every time you step in that ring, your life is on the line, and to have somebody enhanced, coming out to hurt you, I think the drug testing is great.
All right, Robert, I appreciate this interview, and as a Bay Area resident, I was bummed out that my Maidana fight didn't come off, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you in action in July. What would you like to say to fight fans regarding your upcoming 147-pound WBC interim title fight?
I'm just excited, to be fighting in front of the Bay Area fans. Such great fans. I think Bay Area boxing fans don't get enough credit because there's not enough fights out here. So, to have them come out and have a world championship fight and them to support it, I mean, it's gonna be tremendous. And I think a lot of boxing fans around the world are going to be surprised how much boxing is out here in the Bay Area.
Thanks a lot, Robert.
See you later.